7 clear signs a man is using you and wasting your time. And I'm sorry if you're watching this, if this has ever happened to you. Can I give you a big, gigantic hug? And I'm being sincere here for a moment. You know, if you're in the dating marketplace today, you must have a PhD to decipher what the heck a person means beyond their words. Has a man ever said to you he cares about you but doesn't want a commitment? This happens because our current dating process, especially for women, well, let me retract this. While women hold the cards as to when they choose to sleep with a man, it seems to me that men hold the cards as to when they will commit to a woman. I'm going to repeat that. The man tends to hold the cards. For the most part. Not to suggest women don't walk away from men. That certainly happens frequently. But for the most part, men seem to hold the cards regarding commitment. And it feels as though that while someone might say that they care about you, why someone might even start a conversation that they're ready for commitment, oftentimes it's easy for someone to walk away instead of leaning in. So, and maybe this is because sex is rather easy to get. We're going to explore that in this conversation. Well, I think if we're going to explore this conversation, we have to talk about how dysfunctional the dating marketplace is, because I believe humans genuinely don't know how to get to know another human being. Let me repeat that. They don't know how to actually get to know one another. We've been indoctrinated in the belief that men must climb to the highest room of the tallest tower to prove their worth to a woman. This is why romance, love bombing, entertaining someone is how we enter into the dating dynamic. It's all based on pleasure, having a good time. Did you have a good time? I hope you had a good time. Let's just have a good time. That's the way we tend to date today. And I think women are afraid to speak up and ask the harder. Well, let me reframe that. Women of the past, if you're watching this today, I want to give you license to know that you can ask those direct, radically honest questions from the very beginning to determine someone's capacity to be in a relationship. Did you see how I put that in quotes? Capacity to be in a relationship. See, it's one thing for a man to say, I want a relationship. In fact, many men might have had a relationship that ended weeks, if not months ago, and they say, oh, I'm fully ready for a relationship. Only to find out they start to date you, and a few months later, I'm not ready for a relationship. And by the way, women do this too. See, our current dating environment isn't about building trust with one another. As I said in the beginning of this conversation, it's all about the entertainment with one another. By the way, do you know why love bombing is one of the most common sought out searches on YouTube about men who love bomb, men who come on strong, men who just seem to want to give you the world? You're so amazing. You're unlike any other woman I've ever been with. Oh my God, I could see us traveling together. I could see us getting married at some point. Just a lot of words. See, relationships requires building trust. And trust is built through commitment. Trust is built through consistency. And in a few minutes, I'm going to share with you some things that are going to be radically obvious. But I would venture to say that you've experienced one, if not all of these 7 before. So I talked about building trust. What is trust? You know, trust isn't just about fidelity. I mean, we oftentimes think of it in that term in romantic relationship, but trust is really, does this person have my best interest at heart? Well, there's rarely ever any trust on a first date. Maybe a little bit of care, maybe a little bit of consideration, maybe a little bit of chivalry. But quite frankly, for the most part, today we're meeting total strangers. So how can I forgot to say what trust is. We think of it as fidelity, but trust is genuine care about the other person. In other words, the other person's best interests are my best interests. Ladies, you don't go into the dating marketplace with that premise. You're not operating that way, and neither are men. See, trust is built through time. Trust is built through social activities, through hobbies, through mutual interests, through spending time with family and friends. That is some of the building blocks to trust. But Jonathan, I'm in a long distance relationship and we spend 42 hours every day on the phone. 24 hours a day. I did the inverse. We spend 24 hours a day on the phone. We barely see each other. In fact, in the 12 months that we've been connecting, we've not even met. And I'm in this amazing relationship because we spend all day talking. Is that really trust? Can you build trust over the telephone? Do you know, I'm going to ask everyone who's watching this right now, how many of you, raise your hand, are in a long distance dating dynamic? Where a lot of it is, how's your day going? Did you have a good day? I hope you had a good day. Tell me all about your day. I want to hear all about your day. I want to hear about your day. I'm doing a scene from Seinfeld. You know, I'm bagging on long distance dating because very few people actually enter into the process with a real plan to develop something serious. In fact, it should be the first deeper question conversations you have, whether the distance is 10 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles, or 5,000, or we'll say 3,000 miles here in the United States. See, the reality is what is commitment? Commitment is about being consistent with one another. It's about being teammates with, well, commitment can mean whatever you want. I'm just here to espouse that commitment in my world is spending consistent, regular time together and being teammates with one another. In other words, being a support system to one another. See, one of the reasons why people feel used is because you didn't build the deep roots of trust. And without those deep roots of trust, how can you have a fulfilling relationship? Of course, you're going to feel used. Now, I'm going to share these 7 things right now, but I want to say that everything I'm sharing here, women are guilty of this as well. Even though the title is 7 Clear Signs a Man is Using You, women do many of these same things as well. It's not singular to men. But I think it's important to recognize that. So number 1, your time together is mostly about sex. You know, these days, hookups, friends with benefits, situationships, and casual relationships outnumber actual serious relationships. I think with over 100 million singles in the United States, the predominant relationships are hookups, friends with benefits. Situationships just mean that you're spending some time together, but it's not defined. Casual relationships might agree to some level of monogamy and some level of exclusivity, but it's not serious. There's no real plan for the future. Those outnumber the serious relationships. And so if your time together is mostly centered around sex, yeah, I know you know this is obvious. This is radically obvious. But if that's the case, chances are he's going to be wasting your time from a long-term perspective. That's not to say that couples don't get together, regularly have sex. I'm just here to say when it's mostly about sex, that's really just a hookup situation for the most part. Number 2, after the hunt phase is over, he doesn't ask about you. He doesn't ask about you after the hunt phase is over. Okay, so you've all heard the phrase, men love the hunt and men love the chase. Men are supposed to chase women. Men are supposed to climb to the highest room of the tallest tower because that's what they're supposed to do to prove their worth. By the way, this usually lasts a nanosecond in our current environment. But the minute they've bed you, the minute they've had sex with you, the minute the hunt is over, they stop asking questions about you and they focus about their own needs. Let me repeat that. They stop asking questions about you and they just focus on their own needs of wanting basically some companionship and some connection and some sex. Do you know today by the way, folks, there's a big difference between companionship and partnership. Bump, 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 partnership. What is partnership? It's teamwork with one another. See, it's one thing to have a companion in your life. Many people are experiencing companion-based relationships, but I want you to ask yourself, how many of you are actually, how many of you actually experienced a genuine partnership-based relationship where you're operating as a teammate to one another? If you haven't read the book, by the way, all the books I recommend are listed below, but I recommend you checking out this book, How to Be an Adult in Relationship. You know what? We have a lot of children that are in relationships today, and they're over 21 years old. Let me repeat that as I burp. There's a lot of 50, 60, and 70-year-old people that are children in a relationship. I highly recommend you understanding the mechanics to a healthy, happy relationship, and reading this book by David Richo might set you on the right path. So, he doesn't ask about you beyond the hunt phase. When you start to notice that after he's gone to bed with you, all of that amped up energy to get to know you starts to shift, starts to dissipate. The actual amount of conversations start to dissipate after the hunt phase. Now, how do you avoid this? You've got to pre-qualify your prospect. Folks, there's a link below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. My whole area of expertise is centered around discernment. And if you've noticed now, all of the videos out there in the dating marketplace, the TikTok videos, the Instagram reels, the stories on Facebook is all about discernment. I've been talking about discernment for the last 15 years. I have a whole coaching program. Part of one of the things is learning radical honesty, pre-qualifying your prospect, so you don't find yourself in a circumstance where you're used. There's a link below to get to schedule a call with me. Number 3, he doesn't open up to you. He doesn't open up to you. If a man avoids personal questions, if he avoids even talking on the phone after you've been physically intimate, chances are he's temporarily used you in his life. Or if he avoids personal questions, he doesn't want to get too close to you. He just wants whatever companionship, connection, and sex, but he doesn't want to get emotionally involved with you. And if he's unable to express his feelings about you, if he doesn't open up to you about his feelings or personal questions, nor can he open up about how he feels about you, other than that fantasy that started the relationship, chances are you're going to find yourself being used or you've wasted your time. And this happens frequently. You know, number 4, he doesn't protect you. Now, I don't mean this from the physical sense, but quite frankly, we have a lot of men and women who gaslight themselves. They all say they're ready for a relationship. I'm ready for a relationship. I'm ready for a relationship. You know what? Being a really good human being is about genuinely learning who you are and not lying to yourself, because quite frankly, there's someone else's emotions involved when we start to engage in a physical and emotional relationship with someone. So a human being will actually protect the other person from themselves. That's a grown-up. That's an adult in relationship. See, unfortunately, we have, like I said earlier, a lot of children out in the dating marketplace, and they won't actually look out for your best interest. And again, I'm not talking about from the physical protection. I'm talking about an emotional protection. See, if you're not familiar with my chart, the 3 active people dating, by the way, this is not a fact. It's merely an opinion. I roughly say about 20% of the populations are users. They only seek short-term goals. They're love bombers. They're players. They're gold diggers. They're entitled people. They only care about their own needs. And I roughly say 60% of the population are spent. By the way, this is true of men and women alike. Spenders. The reason why they're called spenders, because they'll spend time with you. They want that companionship, connection, and sex, but their life is in chaos. They have no real capacity for commitment. And then I say 20% are grower builders. They seek long-term commitment. They have their act together. They're emotionally grown up. See, a spender isn't looking out for your best interest. They only care about their own best interest. And certainly users only care about their own best interest as well. But a grower builder, when someone has reached the status of, I want a life partner. Ladies, look at, if you're in the dating marketplace, ask yourself, does he say he wants a life partner or does he want a relationship? Just remember, friends with benefits is a relationship. Hooking up is a relationship. Situationships is a relationship. Casual is a relationship. But Jonathan, I don't know if I want to get serious with a guy on a first date. Folks, you've got to be thinking, if you're going to start kissing someone and start to get amorous with them, you got to look beyond casual. You have to look at it from a serious, well, you don't have to do anything. This is my recommendation for you to look at it from a serious perspective. Because what's the point? Do you know how many people have what I call start and stop relationships? They start up for 6 to 12 weeks and then it ends. And then they do another one, 6 to 12 weeks, and then it ends. And they do another one, 6 to 12 weeks, and it ends. Because they're thinking with a short-term mating strategy. I'm here to encourage a long-term mating strategy. Ask those radically hard questions early on. And while there's no guarantee, boy, it puts the odds more in your favor because guys who are not serious will run away. Number 5, you've never met his family or friends. I can't tell you how many women I've spoken to. They've been in a relationship telling me they've been seeing a man physically for 9 to 12 months and have never met his family and friends. There's always an excuse. Folks, if the penis is going inside the vagina on a regular basis, you should be getting to know the people in his life. Let me repeat that. If the penis is going inside the vagina on a regular basis, you have every right to get to know the people in his life. And if he shields you or he makes excuse after excuse after excuse, there's a good chance he's wasting your time and he's using you. Number 6, he doesn't go out of his way to help you. You've been dating someone for a few months and you're sick. He doesn't go out of his way to come bring you chicken soup or maybe go to the pharmacy to get you some cough syrup. Maybe you've been dating for 2 or 3 months and you have to move. Maybe you're doing a short move. He's not there to help you. But Jonathan, he's long distance. He can't do that. We already talked about long distance earlier, that you don't get off the hook just because you're in long distance. These are the things, if he can't be there for you, he doesn't go out of his way for you, then how serious is this relationship to begin with? Someone who genuinely cares about you will go out of their way, certainly when it's maybe not convenient, because they genuinely care. And people who don't genuinely care won't go out of their way when you need them. He doesn't go out of his way when you need him. And number 7, this is the clearest sign of all. Bump, 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 bump. He puts off being exclusive and he avoids conversations about the future. I know this is radically obvious, but it seems like I have to hit you ladies upside the head every once in a while because I can't believe how many of you find yourself in circumstances where you haven't agreed to some level of monogamy and exclusivity and there's no conversations about the future. Let's take it slow. You know what? We just need to take it slow. I just need to take it slow. Take it slow means I'm avoiding any future because I don't see a future in you. But Jonathan, I've just been told I'm supposed to sit in my feminine energy and let men lead, and men are supposed to lead because men know what they're doing. If men were so good at what they're doing, why is the dating marketplace so effing miserable? Why do women initiate divorce at an 80% rate? If men are such good leaders of a relationship, if they're such good leaders, why do women exit out of marriages far more frequently? And here's the real kicker. Women initiate most first marriage divorces. Here's the thing. Most relationships after divorce, men are non-committal. They're non-committal. They don't have to because you can get companionship, connection, and sex without any commitment. If you're not talking about exclusivity and monogamy very early on, I wouldn't waste my time with the person. Either they have a long-term mating strategy or a short-term mating strategy. And if they're like me, I seek a life partner. I'm very crystal clear that I'm seeking a life partner, the kind of relationship I'm looking for. And I'm only sharing with you mine. Maybe it gives you some fodder, some context for yourself. I'm looking for a relationship where we can spend on average 3 or 4 days and nights a week together, doing shared activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends, traveling together, teamwork, building skills, both in our personal and our professional life, intimacy, both physical and emotional intimacy that leads to either moving in together or getting married. That's my long-term, that's my plan. It's crystal clear. Ask yourself, what is your strategy? What is your mating strategy? What is your plan? And if you don't have one, schedule a discovery call with me. All right? Is this content sinking in? Is it resonating with you? Please let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts. There is a comment section here. Post a comment below. I do my best to read them all in the first 24 hours. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. And also, make sure you hit the notification bell on your phone as well. Also, if you want to connect with me directly, there's links below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. There's a link to join my group called Midlife Love Mastery, where you can have direct access to me on a regular basis through a once-a-month webinar and a Facebook group. Check out that link below. If you want to get all the books I recommend, follow me on Instagram. It's all listed below.